So hey everyone, welcome. We were talking a lot of smack. Unfortunately, you can't hear it because that's what private conversations are for. But um, let me just say, I think crypto is one of the weirdest and best like industries and things like that because the personalities involved are so interesting sometimes. And a lot of the ways they're interesting is that they're not really interesting, but they think they are. And, you have all that kind of stuff. Like, it's the nerd Jersey Shore sometimes up in here, would you say?
Yep. I think also like people get famous from doing crypto things, right? And like the rapid acquisition of fame and money can make you insane.
Yeah. And it's not a typical it's not a typical like fame either, you know?
No, because
It's
you're so accessible to the people who you're like famous to. It's not like you're like distance from them in the way that you would be if you became Hollywood famous or something, where there's a layer between you and the people who recognize you. You're just like a normal person.
yeah, and it's also not like a it's not like a universal fame. It's a super niche. That's why I like using the expression like I'm a micro internet celebrity. Like no one knows who I am, but some people are like, "Oh my gosh, you're that guy." And then the next guy next to him is like, "Which guy? What guy? What are you talking about? I don't know what the hell this guy is." It's like,
You know what was super weird was when we did that space a couple of weeks ago and
"Oh
this guy
yeah.
came on and was like gushing about you about like how obsessed with you he was. I mean, it was nice for
I
you, but it was weird.
yeah." And that's the
In
thing
case
about
he's listening. No,
yes.
it wasn't weird at
I still
all.
have to
But
respond to your email, by the way. I did find it. It's just that I get like 10, 12 emails a day from this contact form that are all scammy, spammy things. And it just was in one of those. And yeah, I have to go back and do that. But that is an interesting thing. The effect that it has, I don't, there's not a lot of people that care what I have to say. Like, it's a very small percentage of people. So I'm not like
yeah.
famous. But the couple people that do care, like, I think I have a higher instance of like, my gosh, this is everything than the normal. Like maybe 1 in 10 people who actually listens to me gets a little. Is like, oh my gosh, this guy's a legend. This guy's a, Whereas
That guy was
usually it's like
starstruck.
1 in 100 or fewer of
Yeah.
fans. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's good. I mean, I don't know. I don't get starstruck that at all. I can't remember last time I got starstruck because like I've always sort of been like as I mentioned, offline. I mean, it's not a secret. I used to intern for the George W. Bush White House way back in the day. Did
Mhm.
some other stuff like that. So like seeing like presidents and ambassadors and world leaders and stuff, and then like I just I was too busy with the job and just going on a crazy trajectory in my life at the time that I never really like stopped. It was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I just never learned to like gush over people. But I do, I gush over people I care about, like people I like, people who are interesting.
Right.
And yeah, like I was very happy to meet you more than most celebrities because I'm like,
Oh,
oh, it's
thanks.
this person I know for a while who's a lot of fun. And I'm just like, oh,
Right, yeah,
that's,
no, I was happy to meet you too, but it wasn't like it didn't feel like I was meeting someone I didn't know. It was like,
mm-hmm.
"Hey, what's up?" Because I just walked up to you and you were like, "Hey,
Yeah,
yeah, hey,
exactly.
yeah,
Very low key about this kind of stuff.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it is a funny, funny world. Uh, it just like the same thing with like, it's a lot of weird stuff that surrounds money, and people get weird about money. And I never cared about the money, so I never got weird about that. But it is funny seeing people like not being able to handle being super rich for like a 2 seconds on paper and then losing it. When people lose, I'm not even talking about people who actually lose their money. I'm talking about
yeah,
people whose number went down and then they start stressing. And it's just
yeah.
like, dude, this is This was always not real. What are you talking about?
Right. It was never real money.
Let us roll the intro graphic, and then we get into the actual news stuff / whatever else. End the pre-show.
Okay.
All right, ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, intro. Welcome, children. This is Digital Cash Rundown, episode 194, or as a astute commentator said, 1984 would be more like it because of the Genius Act CBDC stuff. Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah.
I'm joined by the one and only Nerd Girl 007, also known as Nicole. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Tiara in rare form. All the other stuff. Fuzzy
It's the one
chair.
that I lost. I had to wear this one because I lost it when we were in Vegas, and then I had to pay the Uber driver to bring it back to me.
Did you at least cut a deal with him, or did he just throw like the giant, he's like, oh, I'll get it to you for like $30, or was he like $180, trying to
No,
extort
he was
you?
really nice, and this is this one is the one that means the most to me. It's also the original tiara. So I tipped him much more. I tipped him more than I paid for the tiara in the first place.
Yeah, but you didn't pay the value that you derived from it, when you bought the tiara.
Yeah, no, that's true. It was what it was worth to me, not what the tiara is actually worth.
It was non-fungible value, as they say.
True. Yeah.
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 So, sorry, were you going to say something? I didn't even realize.
No, okay. I think that you need to do your sponsor shill.
Yes.
Probably. Yeah.
It's shill o'clock for me, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just chat with that. I was just emailing with these guys today, actually. But this podcast is very proudly sponsored by Coin ATM Radar, because after all, when you're buying crypto with cash, an ATM is much more reliable and safer than meeting some random person in a random place who might be a federal agent and find that as cause to throw you in the pokey for a good many years. So be careful with that. And unlike an exchange, which could freeze your account, you truly own all the crypto you buy. With Coin ATM Radar, you can find crypto ATMs and other services where you can buy or sell cryptocurrencies for cash. Not credit, not this gross bank transfer nonsense. Cash. On their website, search by coin, address, if the ATM supports selling as well as buying. You can also search by geographical area, such as country, state, or city. And you can check and compare actual current fees at different ATMs, which is very nice to have, because sometimes you just say, oh, there's an ATM there. You don't find out anything until you show up. So it's good to have current info. So if you want to find out more, of course, head over to coinatmradar.com, which is coinatmradar.com as in Mary, in case people don't know how to do a website. I never heard any feedback from them, whether if they even listen to my stuff or they like my ad reads, because sometimes I do go a little rogue and talk about
that one sounded rogue.
Yeah, it's like every other one. I freestyle a little bit to keep it interesting. I don't know if they like the top, but they're probably good with that. I mean, I'll just do whatever until they
until they tell you.
Yeah.
No.
If I did more sponsorship type stuff, I think I would like if this was like a full-time ish thing, I think I would like to have as a badge of honor that I've gotten like defunded a few times by sponsors, because they're just like, could you dial this back? And I'm just like, no, bye. Just go. But yes. Yeah. Keeps it fun. So
should we talk about the Litecoin conference thing?
Yeah. What specifically
Yeah, that
part. Should I put up the video? Did I do that yet?
So. I think so, because I don't know if everybody's seen it, or I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you have it? If you don't have it, then don't do it.
I'll pull it up in about a couple seconds. Well, first, let's just recap the Bitcoin and Litecoin conference. Did you go to the Bitcoin one at all or not?
I did, yeah. In fact, we watched the Ross.
Yes.
We watched Ross together.
And how was that? How was the conference
Yeah.
for you?
I mean, actually, so Ross was speaking was the only speech that I attended, except for the end of Michael Saylor, because that was right before Ross.
Mm-hmm.
And you pretty much had to like listen to Saylor to be there for Ross.
Yeah, that was the price of admission for sure.
Yeah, but it was like I remember sitting there and being like, "Is Sailor ever going to stop talking? Like, I don't want to be here for this."
My man loves the sound of his own voice, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it sounded like AI wrote his whole presentation.
Yeah, like first of all, that's a real chance these days. I have definitely seen cases where I know for sure AI wrote people's presentations. Which, by the way, there's a really cool hack. Everyone calls things hacks. Google Slides is the best. I haven't done a lot of presentations up until the last couple of years, and they have a little feature in there where you can just in the actual thing generate an image, and then you
Mm-hmm.
just make it as your background. So you can just make full on AI like generated slides that look really cool in like 2 seconds. And someone at a conference in, I think it was Crypto Basel in Switzerland I was at,
Mm-hmm.
his presentation liberally used these, but he didn't get double checked enough because there was a lot of like weird like extra fingers and like woman with 3 legs and stuff. In I'm just like, I know your thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but the Bitcoin conference. So I was like there, but I didn't really go to a lot of talks. Like I walked around,
Yeah,
you
I mean
know?
that's the way you do it, right? That's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and did like networking events and stuff. I mean, I went to the Rogue Bunnies party on Wednesday night and I got invited to participate in the pillow fight,
Let me pull
which
that up.
yeah,
Let me find that. But yeah, keep going.
which was awesome. So, yeah, so I did the pillow fight and that was cool. That was like a good networking event and pretty fun. Um, and then the Litecoin Summit was the next day and the day after.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I said this about the one last year in Nashville, but definitely the Litecoin Summit felt like an old school Bitcoin conference, kind of like the way they
Yeah.
used to be before they got huge. Uh, more a little bit more aligned to like the original ethos and stuff like that. Do you think? Did you get the same kind of feeling?
Like the Litecoin Summit.
Yes.
So I always prefer those smaller conferences where you can actually see everyone who's there. The Bitcoin conference is so huge that like yeah, there were people who I was like, "Yeah, are you going to be there? Okay, like yeah, I'll see you there or like maybe we'll run into each other." And it's like it's so huge. Yeah, there were people who I was hoping that I would run into or see that I didn't even see, you know?
Mm, yeah.
Um
I
and I
ran
guess
into
that's
like
just
20 people from New Hampshire, like a bunch of people that I haven't even seen, locals to me, who I haven't even seen in many years. I was just like, oh, what are you doing here? Wow. It must be like the
yeah.
Ross thing, like a big delegation.
Yeah. Well, I did run into people who I didn't know were going to be there, who I just happened to like bump into at the Bitcoin conference too. That did happen. Um, but yeah, like I definitely prefer that smaller conference vibe.
Yeah, and also the fact that you just got like an MC who introduces people and then people go and give a panel or a talk and that's it. I like that a lot more than like the string quartet with the drum set coming on and then the spoken word guy. Remember that guy?
Yes, and he was like his I was like just shut up. Just shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving a weird smug Bitcoin poem delivery.
Yes.
Just like,
Yes.
all right, dude. I'm sure he like cared about it a lot, worked hard. Like I don't want to say he did like a bad job or anything. It just like was not what I wanted. It just like, you know.
I was tired. I wanted Ross to speak and then
Hmm.
I wanted to go to bed.
Yeah, for sure. And that was for me, the highlight of that conference because I just popped in and saw a couple people like once or twice and then went to see Ross speak. Obviously, it's a highlight. Just 2 days ago, I was at the Porcupine Freedom Festival and saw his mother, Lynn, and she actually gave the talk immediately after mine. And of course, I hung out with her and interviewed her, and that will be coming out on this channel too in a few weeks. And it was a good one. I mean, that lady is crazy, incredible. Like, and also, like a lot of the best women, is it like oddly stoic, like not like oh my gosh my baby, like not a lot of this like just like very like the kind of like mother that feels awkward hugging you. It's like all right, I'm supposed but like very stoic, not super emotionally gushy, but just laser focused on the mission of getting her son free and moved mountains to get it done.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I remember we were talking about it when we left the conference. We were like, is Lynn like never going to go to another Bitcoin conference again? And we kind of had agreed, yeah, she's done. But a freedom festival, I suppose, is, Porcupine Freedom Conference or Fest is a little different.
Well, now that she's announced her, maybe I should pull that show up on the screen there. Mothers Against Cruel Sentencing.org. I think
Okay.
She started her a nonprofit that kind of focuses on this because, as it turns out, she went from like just an average person to pulling off one of the most crazy pardons in modern history, like getting one of the most awful sentences just kind of like reduced or pardoned. And so now I guess she just like, I guess this is what I'm going to do now, and just decides to do that, which, part of me wants to think like maybe she'd rather just retire and live the rest of her life being quiet. But no, I guess she's got work to do. And I mean, I kind of think, I like to think that I would do something like that too. Just if I found something I'm useful at for society and the world, might as well just keep doing it. And yeah, very looking forward to the results of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's definitely like a testament to the idea that just because Ross is free doesn't mean that the Free Ross movement is like, doesn't mean that the work is done. There are still tons of people who don't have LINs or advocates who have received unjust sentences, and are in prison for it.
Yeah. Just in the crypto world, there's a lot that people I know who've been on this very show, by the way, who were in the pokey. So,
yeah. But I mean, just even just thinking about, non-violent criminals who have been arrested for even things like marijuana offenses, right? Even in states where it's now legal for people to have marijuana where they have not been freed. Like that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, absolutely. Someone below the video, by the way, on X is like, please see DMs, and I did, and last DM I have from this person is like a year and a half ago or something, or a long time ago, and it's not like a.
It must be Victoria.
Okay, well, we'll deal with that later, I guess. But let's as many people know, maybe I set you up for a interesting social media moment at the Litecoin Summit, where Aztec, lovely person, he was going around interviewing people, asking them questions, or he says, what makes hard money, I believe was the question, or what is hard money? What makes it hard?
What is hard money to you?
Yeah, and so I'm just gonna play. I'm not gonna play the whole clip, but just the part, just the money shot, as it were. Just because I'm a little too proud of this moment, considering everything else. Like this was the highlight of the entire week for me. If I would share none of the panel I was on, none of the other stuff, I would just share This is what matters. All right, here we go.
All right, here with Nicole. What does hard money mean to you?
Well, it's hard money if it's got a vein in it.
Yes, you heard that correctly. Well, it's hard money if it's got a vein in it. So, because of the way that's structured, I don't think this will get me demonetized off YouTube because they can't quite. There's not like a buzzword they can pick out for that. But yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean that's true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you put me up to that.
Yes. And I did offer compensation in the form of a steak and shake burger and fries. And there you go.
Yep.
You got it. It worked
Yep.
out. Got the best piece of content of the whole thing, which like maybe I think it should have gotten a bigger pop than it did.
I think so too. Why didn't it? It was funny.
Yes.
It was like nobody reacted.
I think, do you remember like the intro for like the Joe Rogan podcast where he has like a few little quotes or whatever before the theme song plays?
Yeah.
I think I should compile that for this show where instead of just that little sound, it just there's a few like rapid fire quotes and one of them at the end is just like, it's hard money if it's got a vein in it. It's like
No, there was no social media reaction to it whatsoever. I was kind of expecting some, like at least someone to get mad about it, but it was like, nope, nothing. Maybe it's because people actually expect that from me at this point. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's just a glut of content. People just have too much stuff to pay attention to. And it's not like if like Sailor had said that, then it would be like a headline. Oh my gosh. It's like it's first out of character and then a big like name rather than just one of many interesting people at the conference. But also you're not known for this kind of stuff, but you're not known either. It's just in that middle zone. Whereas if you're super straight-laced, then it would have been it popped more. If you were known for doing this stuff, it would have popped more. It was just more like, what?
No, but it also that like it was too in character for me, right? Like you said, I'm not like super well known, but also among the people who do know me, that was like it was 100% in character for me to have said that.
Yes. But as like well, they say it's like dance like nobody's watching. Like all the stuff that I do, like as long as I can pay the basic bills and like live, everything else I do is exactly it's for me. It's all what I want to be doing. I'm building products and services, like making connections, promoting things, making content, all that stuff that I want to see. Like I want this stuff, so I'm making it. If you don't like it, you can go yourselves, like I don't care. So like for me, it thoroughly entertained me and I'm happy. It reached your intended audience.
No, that's true. That's true. And when you said it, so you had just done your answer, right? And then you came back and Aztec was talking to someone else and you like whispered it to me and I was like, oh, that's good. And I was like, I'm going to say it. And you're like, I'll buy you lunch if you do. And I was like, okay, I'm going to. I was already going to do it, but then you like sold it even harder.
Yeah.
And
hard enough to have a vein in it, in fact.
Yeah.
But again, it's all just like it's like dumb juvenile humor. It's not even like relevant. It's not.
Yeah.
It's just like
I would have done it just for the laugh. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'll have to find the nexus of like. Do you remember that guy? I don't remember what his name is because, of course, crypto Twitter's too full of whatever. That random fellow who's not in good shape but likes to be shirtless, who's angry and screaming all the time. What's his name again?
Gabriel Haynes.
Yes.
Yep.
He found a niche somewhere.
I don't know, like, why can that guy be topless and nobody calls him a thought?
Wow, I mean, because here's the thing. Male partial, let's just say partial, male partial nudity is either aspirational or mostly it's just funny in a degrading way. Like, no, like if I get my cans out, everyone's just going to laugh at me and call me low T, right? That's just what's going to happen. If someone else, like a lady, does it, it's all of a sudden like everyone's interested for a variety of reasons. People love it. People are like, you shouldn't be doing that. Oh my gosh. Like, there's just a lot of like, so that's the thing is he can do it because everyone just laughs at him. And I guess it's like, it's also random, it's not like, oh, he had an excuse. It's not like he's like, hey, baby, I'm trying to pretend to be a sexy dude and not be. And no, it's just like, why is this guy angry guy yelling with his shirt off and his big old pepperonis? Like, why is this happening? Why is this related to crypto? And it just works. So maybe I need to do that. And then I need to be the, well, just like as we've been over so many times, the like audited and pumpamentals and all that kind of like stuff ended up being very, on brand. And now people are like, oh, do the thing again. And it's like, well,
Right. Well, I mean, like I just said, though, right? Like Gabriel Haynes can post a topless video screaming and everyone just thinks it's funny. But like, if I just like post a picture showing people my sunburn, people are like, oh, thought. I'm like, dude, it's my sunburn. What's wrong with my sunburn?
I barely like, I've had a busy week and I've just like barely saw that kind of like, what reaction was there? I don't
know.
even
Most people, it was mostly not negative. I'm joking, but like, there were a few like, why are you showing me this? And I was like, what are you talking about? It's a sunburn. It was funny.
Yes. But that's another thing. When I do my little voice compilation for the intro or whatever, I have to add at least also like audited at the end.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like,
you should do audited.
So it's like starts with saying like, with like Roger Ver being like, Bitcoin used to be peer-to-peer cash, and then you're Eric Voorhees say something and whatever, then slip in a, it's hard money if it's got a vein in it. Oh, and then you move on, and at the end it's just after it trails off, you just hear audited. It just like ends. So
what was the word the other day? Oh, audible.
Yeah,
that was the
you
word.
Are audible. You paused before saying it. You are audible, and I'm just like, that's got to have been intentional, right? Yeah, but so we're talking about this stablecoin bill, right? Which is kind of a interesting segue. Speaking of audited, it's very on brand with this thing right now. So we sort of covered this many weeks ago when it was like proposed or talked about. But anyway, crypto stocks soar after Senate passes stablecoin bill. Circle up over 50%. So shares of the first publicly traded stablecoin company, Circle, continued to surge on Friday after the Senate passed legislation that would establish a regulatory framework for stablecoins, a type of cryptocurrency designed to maintain a value in line with the US dollar earlier this week. All right, I'm not going to go any more into the reading the text of the stuff. But so before I just start like rambling on this kind of stuff, how much do you know about the actual Genius Act?
Not very much.
Yeah, so my understanding, and I did read one of the earlier drafts of it. I skimmed it in its entirety, but I read certain bits. So as far as I understand, basically what it does is establishes a regulatory framework for issuing stablecoins. And first of all, I don't know why that was explicitly necessary, since Tether and USDC and all them exist. So they didn't need a framework to necessarily exist. But a bunch of other companies were piling on trying to create their own stablecoins. And I even heard Walmart wants to make their own. That's kind of interesting. But the point is, it's like crypto for payments is going into stablecoins, for better or for worse. Maybe a little bit worse, but like whatever. That's the way it's going. And yeah, it's the framework. First of all, one thing I know it does is it establishes strict reserve requirements, like 1-to-1 reserves in cash in the bank or treasuries or something else, right? As in cash-like instruments. And So that's where like Tether's immediately screwed, because Tether's very opaque, right? As far as like what goes on. And in the early days, everyone called it one of the biggest Ponzi scams or whatever in crypto. I don't know if that's changed. People have just gotten so used to it as such a massive player in the ecosystem. They say they got full reserves for things. They say that they've been audited. They haven't been audited, but they said they tried. There's a bunch of like, you could go down the rabbit hole on that. But basically,
Right.
I think everyone who has half a brain and has paid any kind of attention should probably think that, okay, they don't meet the requirements of this genius bill. They aren't audited. Would you agree with that assessment, do you think?
Yeah, I would agree that Tether has not been audited, or has not been like sufficiently audited. But I don't know. Like like I said, I don't really know very much about the Genius bill. But isn't Coinbase involved? So wouldn't it make sense that they would be trying to get USDC?
Well, Coinbase leverages USDC a lot. In fact, there's some Shopify plugin or Shopify is working to get USDC on Base, which again, it's Odysee. No, it's Coinbase. Come on, it's basically Coinbase to do all that stuff. So, which I should interrupt really quick to say, in the YouTube chat, I got a super chat for $4.20 from Ken Bozak that says, "Much love, bros, with a hug." So Ken Bozak sent a 420 super chat. Thank you, Ken. Thank you. You're a true bro. We were talking about you a lot actually on the pre-show. If you're still listening, he might have fallen asleep already or whatever. But anyway, point being, the act establishes strict audited requirements for stablecoins, right? And notably, so I guess that kicks out like weird shifty ones like Tether, or they'll have to they have to create a different coin to be able to like operate in the US, for example, but also excludes like algorithmic stablecoins and decentralized stablecoins and things like that. Like they don't qualify as regulated stablecoins under this act, which is not good. Maybe. Do you have any thoughts on that part of things?
It excludes deregulated stablecoins.
Or
So would that be like
decentralized
algorithmic decentralized stablecoins? So that would include like algorithmic stablecoins, things like Luna.
Luna or DAI or things like that. But or rather, and here's where I have not done enough research, but maybe it's also not clear. I don't know if that just means they don't legally qualify as stablecoins and now are just called something else, or if that means that they're banned. Like, can you just not use a decentralized stablecoin at all? That would be interesting.
Well, how are they going to make it so that you can't use them?
Just illegal. So like wallets built in the US, or like exchanges can't support them, or I'm not exactly sure. So I don't think they'd be banned, but wherever you can be like, all right, stable coins can be used, and like everyone uses stable coins, like all the, let's say state and federal governments accept them for payments and taxes and stuff, and big companies do stable coins and all that kind of stuff. It would only be the centralized ones. So if you had a decentralized one, you'd have to like swap it for that one before paying for these things. And that's probably how it would turn out.
Yeah.
So let me switch. So obviously I think that stablecoin clarity and stuff is good. I don't care much for stablecoins either way, but our good old friend Aaron Day is very opinionated on this. And so let me show you his thing that he said. So first off, he's sharing this thing that says, from Watcher Guru, says, Crypto czar David Sachs says that the Genius Act stablecoin bill enhances consumer protection and extends US dollar dominance. And Aaron's commentary on that is, y'all believe what the US, checks notes, crypto czar says about the Genius Act? I wouldn't if I were you. It adds surveillance to the consumer and it fuels debt, war, and endless spending. Frankly, it's even worse than if Harris/Biden pushed a direct CBDC, as they would struggle to get adoption. Congress is capturing stablecoins that already have 27 trillion in annual transaction volume and turning them into CBDCs. So, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
I think this is something that was just like really, I don't know. It's just all kind of all over the, like, the subject of CBDCs is super murky, I would say, because no one who believes in anything related to freedom likes the idea. Now the question is, what is and isn't? There are some things that are explicitly called CBDCs. Like, I think Nigeria ran a pilot, didn't work out super well, and some other countries are working on these things. But then if you have a dollar that's a central bank issued digital currency, like in your bank account, you could argue that's already a CBDC. Now, if you have, like, say, if you have a regulated stablecoin with surveillance and stuff built in, like on a public blockchain, like USDC, let's just say, I don't think that's a CBDC, but it kind of serves the same purpose as far as the things people are scared of with a CBDC. It can. That's where it gets a little like, I don't know exactly what to say about it other than, try to use scarce decentralized crypto wherever you can. But I don't know if it's like, oh, Circle is now regulated with these, regular audits and stuff like that. And like, everyone uses USDC instead of banks. This is horrible. I don't know if it's going to be worse. Is it better? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think that it might be worse because it means moving away from cash, and cash has, like, I know that some people argue that there is no privacy involved with cash, but there definitely is privacy in cash, at least more than there is without it, right? Like, there is the ability to transact privately with cash. Yes, there are tracking numbers on cash, but there is some element of privacy involved because I can hand it to you in a dark room without cameras.
Yes, and the best place to do that is on coinatmradar.com. You go there, find real ATMs, look up by country, state, and city, find ATMs or other cash-like services where you can buy crypto with cash and not get rugged by an exchange. Go to coinatmradar.com. Okay.
And don't meet up with strangers.
And get shanked.
In dark rooms.
No shanks, Phil. But, private. That is one thing that with cameras and surveillance and AI recognition tools and stuff, I view cash as like no KYC for sure. I don't view it as I view it as about as private as like pseudonymous crypto in some ways, in that the financial paper trail is not necessarily the same, where you can do blockchain analysis to figure out, who's this, an IP correlation, all the other stuff to figure out who probably made this transaction. But if you're on camera walking into a store with a, it's like the amount of data that has as far as like geographic location, time of actual purchase. Like, you have to either live close by or have been visiting during a specific period of time. And then no one's going to show up in a ski mask. And if you do, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb. So either they have facial or other data on you, or if you try to hide some of it, then people are just looking at that guy like you're coming in to rob the place. I think that could end up being worse than just some online purchase for a digital good. And, who knows where it is. Maybe you find an IP address correlation, or maybe, it just feels to me like, I don't know, maybe it's equal. But either way, cash is government money, right?
Yeah.
And
True.
I'm not going to hope that the government's going to safeguard my privacy.
No, but anything that's tied to fiat or anything that's like a stable coin that's tied to fiat is still government money. You can argue that it's not, but it is.
Yeah. And so that's the thing about, CBDCs and stable coins and stuff. CBDC, everyone knows, sucks. But like stable coins, even the best algorithmic stable coin or whatever, over collateralized, whatever you want to call it, is still like, it still is vulnerable to printing, at least.
Yep. Peter Schiff actually said something today that I thought was
I saw it. Let me bring it up.
Yeah.
Good old Peter Schiff. As we know, Peter Schiff is a paragon of decentralization and crypto values. But no, he's smarter than crypto smarter than crypto people give him credit for.
Well, you know what? And I think that he, for a long time, whether this was originally true or not, I think that he's on the Bitcoin bandwagon and is just like, keeping up the the facade of being an anti-Bitcoin, anti-crypto, or like just for the lols.
Yeah, for the clout. I mean, I don't
not
think
even for the clout, but like as a, what is it when you're like not controlled opposition, but
controlled opposition.
yeah, kind of controlled opposition.
A contrarian figure.
Just being a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mr. Troll over there. Yeah, he's an interesting person. I'm sure he has some crypto. I'm sure he's used it. He knows too much about, like, his hater comments are not dumb enough to where it's just an act. Like, there's enough. He knows a lot about the whole, like, pet rock kind of thing. And he knows about, like, especially the sailor thing. He's like spot on with like the sailor pumping to the moon and like the pump and dump. So yeah. Anyway, so what he said here, let me hit the button there, is I get Bitcoin, but not US dollar stablecoins. If you're going to introduce a third party custodian, why settle for a token backed by a flawed fiat currency like the dollar when you can own one backed by gold? You get the same liquidity, but you also get a real store of value. So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, absolutely. But if I'm going to do a dollar denominated thing, it's because I need it for something. Like I have rent denominated in dollars and I don't want to deal with the volatility risk. Like I can do that personally, but if I have if someone pays me to, like, I take a work related thing, like someone, like I get a grant for this much to pay for this. If I keep it in volatile crypto, I could like rug people, I could not be. So I want to denominate it in something that will work, or, whatever. If you need that, you need that. If you don't need that, like you can afford to have a gold token that has custodial counterparty risk, I would have a not custodial counterparty risk coin. you know? It's like if you're dancing with the devil, dance as little with the devil as possible.
Yeah.
But when he says he doesn't get it, depends on what he means by get it. Does he not get why crypto bros are excited about it? Yeah, that perspective makes 100% sense. But you have to get why people would want to do stable coins who don't, like companies would rather, this is crypto, but it doesn't fuck up our accounting. Okay, this is great. Or like, you want to take digital payments and this is the next step of digital payments, so let's just modernize our fiat. That makes sense too, even though I don't care about that. So, yeah, let's hit on this password breach thing because that was interesting.
Huge. Yeah, it's
huge.
The biggest.
I came on Cointelegraph, I saw it, said, wow, what a big leak. So, mega breach of 16 billion passwords raises crypto security fear. A leak of 16 billion passwords from services including Apple, Google, and Facebook poses serious risk to crypto holders as tons of people. By the way, I heard that they were hashes of the passwords, not the passwords themselves. But anyway, 16 billion. So basically, I don't know how much there is to say about like the news part of things other than change your passwords now. Just do it. You know, there's just like your, I don't know if you particularly, but viewer and probably Nicole, your passwords are all they're in there. So get 2FA, two-factor authentication, not a stupid SMS thing that can be swim swapped, like a
Right.
password, proper TOTP authenticator, or better yet, a security key, a physical security key. Get one of those for everything you can do, and then also get a password manager where you can just literally go down the list and regenerate a secure password for everything. Just change all your passwords, and you don't have to like remember new passwords. Just do that. Write it down. Write it down in the back of your hand so you won't forget. And get on that. But yeah, so massive honeypots. You like them, don't you?
Honeypots? Yeah, I'm like Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah, a massive data honeypot, which is where we're kind of at with this. I don't like. Here's the thing: all these companies that sign up for stuff, they don't just authenticate a data. Like they have login credentials for you, and then they save all this other stuff. So they can be hacked at any point. They have all the. They store all this data on you that they don't need to do. So any way you can have login credentials and information that you control is infinitely better. Like if you could just sign in with your crypto wallet, and no one's ever had their MetaMask drained or anything. It's never happened. But like you sign in with your crypto wallet or whatever, or your physical hardware, your physical security key or something like that. They can't hack that and take it. So just say no to data, storage. Also might be good to like give people burner email accounts for things. That might be good too. But basically, does, the whole Bitcoin fixes this thing? Well, maybe not Bitcoin, but do you think crypto fixes this?
Does crypto fix your password? The password data breach? No, obviously not. No.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we had like blockchain solutions to like this kind of stuff instead of centralized companies storing all your data like that, maybe that could be an improvement.
Yeah, but we don't. But we don't have reliable solutions, and in fact, that's what we were talking about on the show on yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, crypto. I want to come on the show next week because I have stuff to say about that topic.
Oh, you mean the crypto quorum?
Yeah.
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 Absolutely. You can come on as anything, except for co-host, because the co-host spots will all be filled up. But you can be a legit speaker instead.
Yeah, as me.
Yes.
Okay.
I forgot what it was on. What
is it good for?
Oh yeah.
No. Crypto can. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope everyone watching can kind of follow my like rambling train of thought over here. But it's it's true. We do have the Dash account runs a weekly space called the Crypto Quorum at 1 p.m. Eastern / 5 p.m. UTC every single Thursday, and it's co-hosted by Xano, and now it's going to be Edge. Although the Edge account is not going to be on every single time, but as many as they can, they will be. So that's kind of how the makeup of that. The next one will be on crypto. Does crypto stop warfare? Because you see a lot of people saying, just buy Bitcoin and people won't be able to bomb you around anymore or something. And like, we'll go down that little rabbit hole. There's a lot of like yes and no to that whole thing. Yeah, and just looking at the live chat thing, because it just started popping off like in the last few minutes. Usually it's like empty and then whoa.
You have a hard stop in 5 minutes, don't you?
Well, yeah, I have a hard stop in 5 minutes. A new show will start. So let me just make sure we don't have anything else we didn't cover that we should have. But North Korean hackers, I don't think we need to touch on that.
No, we're good.
Why don't you start shilling your stuff? What would be good for you to shill at this point?
I don't really have anything to shill. Crypto Quorum. Shill the Quorum.
Yes. if I had like less of a hard out, I would probably like play out with the exit liquidity song, which
I need to make a new song. For Crypto.
well, that's an actual.
Because the old song gets me like it gets stuck in my head.
Well, here's the question on that. Can we keep the song like 99% identical, but just switch out a couple of words, or will it just generate a different version every time?
It will generate a different song. I can't just change a couple of words. That's the unfortunate thing. But I'll try to get a good one.
Maybe we just keep it then. It's just like that.
No, we can just make a new one, and then we can always keep the old one and play the old one sometimes.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking well, I'm sure Jessica asked this offline or whatever, but I'm sure I like the new one and I made the old one, and I kind of feel like being etched permanently is like that's what happened when you were there for us when we were nobodies kind of thing. You were there in the beginning, now you get to be in the song forever. And or maybe if we do like a once a year update kind of thing. Maybe the next
we can just make another one, and then we can like alternate. We play this one sometimes, play the old one.
I kind of like the idea of just doing the random parody / funny ones that you use to like start the space off with, and then we get into the thing and just hit with the regular like theme song. But you know how like animated series, like I used to watch anime growing up. Shocker, I know. And they have like each season has its own little like intro and extra graphic, and then they switch it up with a different season, a different song. And it's like maybe we do it that way.
Yeah. Could be that.
But yeah. So everyone who's watching, by the way, unless you want to get audited, you should follow Nicole on X. Here we go. I'm gonna throw that up on the screen. NerdGirl007. More followers than me, which I'll get there someday. Has a lot of quality content and stuff, a lot of shit posting, a lot of whatever else.
Mostly shit posting.
Yes, but that's good. At some point you might get back to your famous videos and stuff, but there might be pillow fight stuff there too. This 66 too old to wear a bikini thing. At first I thought it was going to be a Britney Spears thing.
No, that Britney Spears thing, I think you had me make it, but it looked stupid.
I think it looked great.
Okay.
How offended would you be if I shared it publicly?
No, I don't care. You can share it.
Okay. Well, that's good. All right. Everyone, thanks for watching this rambly show. This is much more just fun and talking whatever than serious stuff. But if you got one serious takeaway, other than start living on real scarce crypto before it's too late, is change your GD passwords.
Yes.
Change your passwords. And I will see you guys next week, or more importantly, the Dash podcast is coming up in like 1 minute. So smash the like button. Smash for Dash, as they say. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Bye-bye.